We're back here on Jones and Company in this final segment of our program, and today we have an educator here who's speaking about education and nutrition, and of course we have an agriculturalist, Godfrey Amius.
Thank you. Early in the program, at the beginning, Brendan mentioned that your mother taught him. And he also mentioned that Mr. Aaron Sawyer was the headmaster. So that's my connection. Mr. Aaron Sawyer also taught me.
Okay.
And he was also the headmaster when I was at Eastern Junior. And I put your mother in that same era of teachers for whom education wasn't a job, right?
It was a calling.
It was a calling, it was a vocation. It was they showed dedication. The pay was small, but people took pride in their students, right? Lady Dame Ivy, in her book, you know, she recognized that I was one of her students. You know, just as your mother recognized Vangelis. Is that genre of teacher still alive, still around?
Yes. Yes. Emphatically, yes.
Why you say that?
There are, okay, I'm an educator also, right? I've been in education 36 years actually. And I came out of the classroom a while ago, but after teaching for about some 16 years. And although now there is a lot that is being said of maybe the genre of teachers, it's still there. However, it may be minimized to a certain point. But you do have, you know, I work for education, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. So I do have interactions based on the programs I'm doing with the schools. And I still feel that the majority of teachers are still of that same kiln, seriously. These teachers are, I say they are married to teaching. They are actually married to teaching, and they still give sacrificially to teaching. There are, like in every profession, some bad apples. And the bad apples have more of a forceful voice a lot of times, and therefore more of a forceful impact than the majority who are doing an excellent job. That said, I would say that a lot of times it's tempered with their experiences. For example, right now, because when we were growing up, education was key. Education was there wasn't any question that you had to get an education. There was a value in education. We as children, as students, realized the value. The parents realized the value. But that is what has changed. It isn't that the sacrificial effort of teachers have changed, but it's the value of education. So there, if you could have the same amount of effort being put into sustaining the vocation. But if the clients whom you are exerting all this effort to lift up and impart and improve don't value what you are doing, then it negates against what you are doing. So that's where the problem is right now.
Dr. Sincere, I went in my year, right? When you look like us, everybody went to the government school. And then when you get in grade 4 or grade 5, you take the test to go to high school. All right. However, many of the people who taught me were untrained. There was no teachers training college when I went to the government school. You know, they were untrained. They just happened to be smart academically, right? And because of opportunities were limited, they were pushed into teaching. And when I look back at some of my teachers, there was only maybe 5, 6 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
But they learn their craft or their profession on the job.
Right.
And I was able to learn to read, write, multiply, subtract. The point I'm making is the foundations of my education was in the government system.
Right.
And I learned all the 3 R's.
Yeah, the foundation is still there.
Right. But you got, with all this expenditure, people going to teacher training college, you get a preponderance of people coming out of school who can't read and write, and more students who supposedly graduate only graduate with a certificate of attendance,
Yes,
not a certificate of accomplishment.
Yeah, not a high school diploma.
That signals to me this failure
On the part of whom?
in the system.
But isn't it so that parents must reinforce? There has to be reinforcement
Yes.
of what is taught in the classroom. And there are, Dr. Sinsir, a whole lot of parents who are just not interested in their children's education. They have not bought into education and the value of education. We were talking about nutrition a while ago. And no matter what you teach these children what to plant in the primary school and what to eat, if the parents do not buy into what you are doing, it's all for naught, isn't it?
Yes, it's a futile.
In the main.
You call it futile enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
So no matter what you teach, if it is not reinforced at home,
Right.
if you do not have parental participation, it is all for naught, right?
Well, that is one of the issues we fight with in the school system. Just that, and as you mentioned, if it's not a value, then you know it's thrown aside, and we cannot for not one iota of a minute minimize the impact that parental involvement have on their students, on their children. And so any education system will continue to limp with that. You know, for example, there are some parents, you know, school has just closed and there were proms and those sort of
big money on
activities. But, you know, they will spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a prom and don't even make sure the children at least show up to take the exam. And so students actually sign up and register for the national exams, and a lot don't even show up.
You know what I found to be so disgusting? That I was trying to pass the British Colonial Hotel one evening, and there was a prom going on. And a student had a police outrider
escort
them to this prom. And the outside of the Colonial Hotel, British Colonial Hilton, they had hundreds of people to watch this prom. Of some of them now, and I underscore the word, some of them dummies.
Yeah.
With police outriders and the most fashionable vehicles in the world. We get this thing backwards. We're not concerned about education. We're concerned about a lifestyle. Just showing off.
It's American.
Just showing off. And when you get people out of that mindset, we will do better with education. I would never allow a police outrider to take my child to a prom. Or I would not spend $500 for the vehicle to take my child to a prom. You understand me? These proms should be outlawed.
Yes.
Yeah, but
the too elaborate, of course.
Yeah, it goes back back to the change in the value system.
Yes.
And the whole, what is priority in the nation? What is the priority of the parent?
Yes.
It goes back to that.
Parents borrow money to buy their daughters' dresses for proms as if they were being married. and you trying to get them to eat properly. And they are not even interested in that. They're not interested in that.
Well,
they will still go to the fast food operations.
But I'll applaud the ones who are interested. Let me applaud the ones who are interested, because there is always hope that there are the parents and
Dr.
you know,
Simpson,
who are interested.
I don't want to cut you off. You know, a whole lot of Bahamians do not cook at home
Anymore.
Particularly on Saturdays, on weekends. They'll tell you, ain't no cooking around here. Boy, you're on your own.
Yeah.
You better go and buy some fast food.
And that's regional. that's
So
regional.
so we are spoiled people. We have bought into an American culture.
Yes, we have.
You know, you
Much
mentioned,
to our detriment.
you mentioned there's no value in education. When I was growing up, right? The Cambridge results used to come out in January or February, and you take it in December. And they used to publish it in the paper. It's published in the paper. And boy, if
And you had to pass all of
if
them
you
to get
take
your
that
certificate.
exam, see, I don't know if people know who to take the exam, but if you take your exam and your name wasn't in there with a pass or whatever, or credit or distinction or whatever it was, right? You regarded it as a failure academically, and then your career was subjected to I don't know what.
But that was when people had pride.
Yeah. Because if you pass now, all the parents go around, oh, my boy passed.
With
the
bragging
news
about
in
it.
Yeah.
But that's when people had pride.
Yeah.
But the whole issue, we have come, you know, it's 41 years, and we have come a long way, and we have a long way to go.
You know, you from Cat Island.
But there's been a, as the former Governor General said, a dumbing down in our society of certain norms.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yes, because if you have a whole shift in values, a shift in priority, a shift in what we as Bahamian citizens and the residents of the Bahamas see as the bedrock of national building and nation building, and the structure that has to be in place so that each generation could build on what is there. That's where we are. So the question is, we know where we are. We know collectively what the deficits are and what is that. So now let's put our collective wills together and let's bring in, you know, a big problem in the country. A lot of things are happening, but some of the key people who need to be in the discussion are not included in the discussion. And that's one of the things we suffer from.
Dr. Sincere, we can talk to you for a long time.
So you like my guess?
We are flat out of time. And we thank you so very much, ma'am, for being here today. And we thank Mr. Enos for introducing you to Jones & Company.
Talk about food.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you too for having me.
Because this is where it's at, all right? You know, them other fellas doing some things that we question, but
but also, you know,
thank you
I
so very
think
much.
the nation needed
You're
to know.
welcome.
The nation needed to know the work that people like Dr. Sincere is doing and changing that happens in this country. This is very important.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
Thank you so
important.
very much. Thank you, Godfrey.
Thank you.
I see you stop wearing your tie on my show.
Mr. Jones.
See, it's summertime.
Yeah,
It's summertime.
It's
summertime. Thank you so very much. Thank you for watching and listening to our program today. Good evening, everyone.